Thanks for the introduction. Again, I'm AJ and I'm here to teach you about gardening and the unexpected challenges that you may or may not face when gardening in 2020. So, what is gardening? Gardening, it's a tradition as old as time itself, and it's got plenty of varieties. So from English gardens to Japanese stone gardens, there's lots of different things that you can experiment with. And I know that we're in summer now and we're outside of spring, but that doesn't mean it isn't too late to create your perfect dream garden. And so here's a couple of the hurdles that you might face when creating your own garden, such as mites. You might want to reach for a pesticide, but I would actually encourage you to instead get some neem oil. It's organic and you can actually make your own. Mites, they're just bad for the health of your plants, and neem oil is a healthy alternative for your garden and it's good for the environment overall. Again, if you have a neem tree, you can make your own. If you don't, plant a neem tree because you can never have too many trees, right? So another thing that you might encounter is weeds in your garden. And I know that that's kind of like an obvious thing, but you might want to again reach for the herbicide, but just instead pull the weeds out and then use a gardening fork and mulch the dirt. Repeat the process, spray it down with salt water mixed with vinegar, and then that's a non-toxic solution and it's super effective, more effective than herbicide actually in this situation. And while you're looking at your lawn, you might notice some brown patches of dirt. This is caused by moles usually that eat bugs and grubs in your yard, but they can multiply and ruin your flower beds, and you just can't have that. So what would you do about it? There's a couple of ways that you could trap them. I would recommend using a non-lethal trap instead of a lethal trap. You can just bury a bucket on one of their routes and then cover it, and then the moles will fall in, and then you can dispose of them. Another thing that you might encounter is a racist statue. This might appear in your garden and in like its migratory patterns that are sure to start happening in 2020. And again, I know that this hasn't been a common problem, but it is all over the United States. There's plenty of these statues. And again, since we are in 2020, we have to prepare for anything. So if you're planting begonias in the morning, take an afternoon nap and then wake up to find a Robert E. Lee statue, here's a couple of things that you might want to keep in mind. So I've taken the liberty of finding some local genus of racist statues that are native to the Illinois area. So if you're watching this from Chicago or Illinois, these are the ones that you can kind of look out for. So starting off, we have the Oakwoods Mound variety. This one actually, there's one of these down in the south side, and it comes with 4 cannons, and it's got a smug looking guy up on top, which I'm not sure why he looks so smug considering he lost. So again, if you're out destatuing the day before, this is an illustration I've prepared. You can just kind of load in cannonballs made from a melted down statue previously and then just fire in succession. Remember, stand behind, fire 4 times, and then that ought to do it. Another one is slightly uglier. There's the Confederate obelisk variety that's located in North Alton. You might want to watch out for this one. It's a participation trophy through and through. It looks terrible again, but to bring this one down, you can throw ropes up on top of it and then pull in sync with a group of friends. Make it an event. Everybody loves a good old barbecue and obelisk toppling. So, let gravity kind of do the heavy lifting on this one. Another one is the Haymarket Police statue. Now this one actually keeps popping up in front of the Chicago Police headquarters. People have actually tried to remove this for Chicago PD a couple of times. And since it keeps coming back, what I would recommend, instead of using traditional means, just stop paying for it. This problem usually solves itself if you stop paying for it with this particular type of statue. Now, for the dandelion variety of statues, we have the Christopher Columbus variety. Now, these usually appear by a waterfront, which makes their disposal that much easier. So again, get a group of friends together, go down to the waterfront, and then if you see a Christopher Columbus statue, just go ahead and push that guy right on in. The fish, they love this. It's good for the environment, because it just breaks down. And it's just a good time. So hopefully now you know a couple of tips and tricks so that if you see a racist statue pop up in your garden or your friend's garden or anywhere in the country, just go ahead and topple those guys down. Thanks.